Hey, this is Tony, the BA Arriagada, and today we're going to talk about SIPOC, supplier, input, process, output, and customer. Let's just back up for a second. So, what I like to tell you or give you some more information about is that this technique originally came from Six Sigma. If you don't know what that is, go ahead and Google it real quick and you'll find out more information. So why do we use it as business analysts? What makes it so valuable? So usually when I do a scoping exercise in the beginning of a project, we use a SIPOC. Why do we use it? Is because whenever you're planning to start some type of process management or any type of improvement in the process, to understand workflows and who are the customers and whatnot as defined in the SIPOC, it's important to document a high-level understanding of the scope for this process. So remember I said for scoping, and a SIPOC process, it defines what is going on in that area of the business, and then you get agreement from usually a group, and usually I have a group type of facilitation to try to understand what a SIPOC is. So this is to provide the customer or whoever the client is with a type of structured discussion based off of what are their processes, their suppliers, the things that make them who they are, and then you gain the consensus before everyone leaves rushing off the door. Oh, this meeting, oh, whatever. Your BA is always asking us too many questions. So this is just a small snippet on what is a SIPOC with all my mistakes in the damn video, but it's okay. So until now, the second part of this is how do we use it? How do we use the SIPOC? Now that I've told you why do we use it, so the next thing you would do is to create the SIPOC. I can go to the whiteboard and actually create this. You can even do it virtually. I do it in Word and make columns, and bam, you start creating the content from there. So with each letter, you have to create some content to go inside of that. So I always start off with the P in SIPOC, because it's process. The process first. So you must gain agreement to the process and use a verb and plus a noun format as you are going down, process task or process by process, until I usually do about 7 to 10 steps into the process for a high level. If you do anything greater, it's really gonna kind of confuse everything because people want to talk about the details. Don't let them get into the details, and just cut it off and just talk about the high level information. The second part, I start off with the outputs. Now the outputs, these are the tangible things that you want to document, like the reports, if there's a letter, what's coming from the customer, after you complete this process, what's the output of this? What's going on with that? And what all reports are being created on each part of the process or at the result of it. The next one would be the customer. So who are your customers of this process? These are the people who receive the outputs that you already documented. So every output should have a customer. If it doesn't have a customer, you need to go back to the customer and document that, or go to the output and then kind of dig a little deeper to find out who the customer is, because you have to have a customer. The other thing is you have to define the inputs of the process. So I'll start off a little differently, but this is like the normal process. You get the inputs, and these are the things that trigger the process. These are the inputs. This is what you receive. So this is also tangible information that you normally get. In other words, for example, like a request or a transfer request, whatever it may be. The next one will be the suppliers. Now the suppliers are part of the process too. And these are the people who supply the inputs, and every input should have a supplier. Like I said, so in some end-to-end process, the supplier should be basically, in most cases, it will be the same person, and it may not be the same person. Everything is different on every area of the business, so never stick to one way of doing something. And lastly, define the sub-processes that make up the process. And these are the activities that are carried out essentially to convert the inputs into outputs. So they'll usually form the basis of what the process map will be developing, if you understand how to do process maps. And lastly, what most people don't do, that I do, and just a little tip, is I capture the pain points, like what they experience in the process on a high level, so I can document, okay, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. And just about, I don't capture no more than 5. Just keep it simple. This is Tony, the BA Arriagada.